It's Friday. Hurrah. It is 4 o'clock. It is Short Fuse. Hello. Hello. How are you doing? Good week? Bad week? Indifferent week? Short week? So that's good, isn't it? Just poncing about. And a shout out this week to Jeffy. Jeffoo! Come on, guys.
Hey, Jeff.
Hooray. See, look, they all miss you, Jeff. Not really. Jeff's been trotting around in his homelands of Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland and any bit of Ireland. Of course, he likes the South far more than Rob likes it, but that's a little political indiscretion they have. But anyway, hello to him and to his mum and dad and to the Nipper as well. And the weather apparently is 17 seasons in one day, which is not surprising for Northern Ireland. We have got a change in this show this week. Got something slightly weird coming up later. But due to popular demand, God knows, I think it's his mum, Johnny is going to play a slightly larger role in this week's show. So you'll find out a bit more about that later. When I mean larger, I just mean he'll be saying a bit more. Anything else. Yeah, nothing enlarged. Absolutely. Right. Okay, let's go on with our story of the week. And it is this. Mortgages are going green. Now, I really like this story. So this is green banking with a twist. You may have heard of the Green Investment Bank and all these things, blah, 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 blah. But Barclays have launched, I think this is a cracking idea, a green mortgage. So what it says is that if you are going to buy a house that's energy efficient, an A/B rated house, and you're going to look after your bills, whatever, we are going to give you a mortgage at a better rate. Pretty clever. So they're saying that they'll reward people who buy these homes with a lower rate than their standard tariffs. It'll be available if you buy probably a new build home, because unfortunately, obviously, older homes like my one, knackered old Victorian thing, they leak like anything. But if you're buying a new home, this could be really pretty good. And they're saying that on a 150 grand mortgage, the average savings over 5 years would be about £750. It's been backed by the government, obviously. Claire Perry, I think, gave it the thumbs up, the Energy Minister. And I think it's a really, really good idea. Why not? We have lots of people trying to get on the housing ladder. If you're going to buy a house that's more efficient than an older house, why shouldn't you be given some sort of benefit? Because you're using less energy, you're using less stuff, and it could encourage us to do more of it. If you found that actually by putting in insulation and putting in the things you can, that you got a discount, or you found it was beneficial for you financially, I think many more of us would do this. I looked at trying to get some in-wall insulation, but as I said, because my place is so old, you can't do things like that. But maybe if someone said to me, hey, stick a solar panel and do all this and we'll knock some money off your mortgage, may get me going. So I think this is a really good initiative. Barclays is launching this now. They plan to get some customers on it quickly, and we'll see how it goes, because if it's popular, I'm sure other banks will follow suit. Next story is also on this sort of efficiency ride. So this is the government getting involved. First story is about the market doing something. This one's about the government putting £6 billion into a new energy efficiency package. And what they're doing is they're changing the terms of the energy companies' obligations. So all big energy companies have to pay something called an ECO, which is basically an obligation to help the poorest in society with improving their fuel whether it's fuel poverty, by helping them with bills, whether it's insulation, whether it's boilers, whether it's anything like that. And this scheme has been pretty good. It has helped people in the poorest parts of society to try and mitigate against sort of rising prices. But quite unusually, only 30% of the people who are qualifying for this scheme are not on low incomes. Well, I find that quite weird. Shouldn't this be a scheme for the most vulnerable in society? So the government is looking at that, and they want to extend it. They want to open ECO up to another 900,000 people. And their plan is to invest this money, encourage energy efficiency, and get the energy companies to, play ball by funding this. Now, you could say energy companies get a lot of stick, and some of it is very deserved. But I would say on this point, they have done a lot. You know, most energy companies will offer you help with your boiler or your insulation or other things. They contact people, and often people just say, I'm not interested, which is weird. You know, if you're going to get this offer, and particularly if you're sort of struggling, you know, a little bit of insulation can cut your bills by an amazing amount. So the more we have of this, the better. Excuse me. Now, final story in this section. Well, this is interesting. In Australia, down under. So it's cleaning up down under. Right now, England is cleaning up on the Commonwealth Games. I think last I saw they were leading the medal tables, and now the Aussies are cleaning up themselves. Since they cut down coal plants, they closed 7 of them in the last 4 years, they've seen a really significant cutback in the levels of emission of particulates, things like sulphur, nitrogen dioxide, things like that. All the sort of grudge and gunk that comes associated with thermal plants. The air quality has improved. They've actually seen that. And what they're saying is that this is a direct correlation that if you do, no shit Sherlock, get rid of, you know, coal plants, then the air does clean up, because if we're not burning all this stuff, it's not going out there. What they did find, though, is electricity generation, and this is interesting. Now, Australia doesn't have a big population. Obviously, it's a massive country with a very small population. So some of the rules that Aussies have don't really apply to us here in the UK or in mainland Europe. But electricity generation is still the biggest source of toxic particulates in Australia. And I'm probably certain that it is probably the case here, but it's probably... We have a lot of diesel, you know, trucks, and we have a lot of transport that puts out our particulates. But in Australia, they found that although they've had a big cut, it still shows you that if we can green our electricity production, then we get cleaner air for all of us. Okay, right, they're the main stories. And now, this is something new. Well, we thought, why not have a moment where we try and discuss life in a more ELN manner? So, welcome to The Banter Box. Did you like that little animation?
I missed it, but I saw it earlier, so yeah.
Yeah, you know what it is.
I know what it is.
You're not shown in it very well, are you? You didn't like that?
Well, I'm on top of the box.
You are on top of the box. He's got the top banter. Yeah. So what this is not going to replace Viewpoint. We'll still do Viewpoint, but occasionally I will let the oi polloi
come in,
have a snap back. Yeah. And that's what today's one's about. So we're going to discuss a topic. I'd like you guys to get involved by tweeting us or hashtagging. You know the score, short fuse. You can go on there and do it. Let us know what you think during the course of the next few minutes. So I thought I'd start with a subject that's close to both our hearts.
Yep, fracking.
Frack you.
Yep.
Excellent. Frack off. So, Cuadrilla. So, I think we've got some video. Let's put the video up. So, Cuadrilla have basically managed to drill the UK's first shale gas well.
Yep.
In Lancashire, a horizontal well. So what they've done...
Not a big fan.
Not a big fan. All right, well, let's do the story bit first. So what is happening is basically fracking's back, and what they've done is they've gone down and then they've gone out and they've gone horizontally. And the reason is that shale, if you know what shale is, hopefully most of us have worked it out, it's where you've got gas trapped in sort of rocks and stuff like that, and you have to drill out. It's not like a conventional well where there's a pool of oil and you go down, or a pool of gas. And so Cuadrilla, they've done it in Lancashire. They've gone down 2,500 metres and they've gone out 800 metres. They've gone into the shale, and they reckon that they'll be able to get a bit of commercial gas coming out soon. So we can start about this. I do get fracking awful idea. I do get fracking because I do think for energy security it's a good thing. But we've shown some pictures of people demonstrating when you know you're not a big fan.
Well, don't you trust the Russians to supply us with energy?
Of course. I trust them to supply us with Novichok, but not energy. But go on.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Well, that could be good for our nuclear power industry. We can use that.
No. Go on then. So tell me why you don't like it. You don't need your notes for this. It's supposed to be banter.
I'm not very good at banter.
No, it really is. Alex knows he's not.
Well, I'm from Surrey. And
yeah, you're posh.
There's beautiful countryside. I'm very posh.
Come over here.
There's lots of beautiful farms and stuff like that.
Is it just
And
because
they'd
you're
be full of
posh?
fracking rigs if they had their way.
Yeah,
So that's going to ruin my walks in the countryside.
yeah. And the place to park the Rolls Royce.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Exactly, and the Bentley.
And the Bentley.
Yeah, but no, seriously, I don't actually think they're needed because solar and wind are becoming cheaper by the day. Batteries are getting closer to actually being a proper thing that we can use. And it seems to me that fracking is just another way to destroy the environment, which we're moving away from in most other ways.
Well, you could say that, but also you could say, what is security? So you did the story about, when we had the beast from the east, we were going to run out of gas. We had that warning from National Grid, and we know that we're importing nearly all of our gas. So let's look at America, all right? So they've been fracking for ages.
Yes.
All right? And you can say what you
don't
like.
know if they're the best example to follow.
But they are an example where, if you put away the emotional side of
they're doing well, yeah.
Yeah, all right? So the shale gas has actually given them an economic benefit and it has made them more energy secure. Now, I'm not saying that we should be drilling all over the place. Absolutely not. I do agree with that. And I think that there is an impression. Right, let me ask you something. I bet you probably... Do you think fracking goes on in the UK?
Not on a massive scale, but I imagine on very small scales.
It has been going on for about 40 years.
Yeah.
Right, so we don't know it. Fracking
I'm
rigs...
not sure what scale is that happening on.
It's tiny, really small rigs, the size of, when you're out and about and you see a kind of like, a transformer. Yeah, so there are parts of the country, like in Derbyshire, where there's these small rigs. They've been going since the 60s. They don't
I
do
knew
much,
what's going on.
Yeah, and you don't really hear them. And so it's one of these things where I think 2-3 years ago, previous report, Vicky used to cover loads of demos about it. You've covered, obviously, Pre's done it as well.
Yeah.
People against it. But there's this kind of reactionary kind of madness that we're all going to die. There's going to be gas coming out the taps. All the water's going to be poisoned.
Yeah.
So I think, Quadrilla have gone through a lot of hoops to get this. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing, but I do think it's one of those things where if you're looking at energy security, we should have it.
Especially as Brexit's coming along.
As Brexit's coming
we
along.
need to be more secure.
We
So
do.
If there was ever a time, it's now.
But for people like you, who are a bit posh,
Yeah, frack it.
frack it. All right, there we go. Okay, now, you've got some stories. Tell me more.
So, continuing on my posh Surrey walks in the countryside theme.
Excellent.
I was glad to hear the government's cracking down on people that litter. So that means if you're walking along and chuck something in the bush, or if you throw something out of your car window, which apparently wasn't covered by the previous regulations, I don't think, or properly enforced at least.
Right.
Chucking stuff out of your car. Previously, if you were on foot and chucked something, it was an £80 fine, and now it's £150 for that and the car one. So I don't know if that's enough, but it's quite a lot of money to pay over.
Yeah, but okay, right. So that's fine. Who's
Yeah.
going to police it?
The police? No, I don't know.
Look, they can't even stop what's going on in London right now.
Well, I see they do. I've seen loads of people get fined 80 quid before at Waterloo.
Have you?
So they do it at train stations.
I've never seen anyone
that.
be fined for dropping litter.
Yeah, at Waterloo I've seen it a load of times because I used to work there, obviously, so maybe that's why. But
Yeah.
in the countryside, obviously, no one's going to be around if I chuck I don't know, a sofa in a bush or something, or a packet of crisps or whatever. So I don't know how effective
Sofa,
it will
packet
be.
of crisps.
But I think in London, maybe it will make a difference.
Well, look, we should be cleaning up, so there's no reason to say this is a bad thing, but I just think they won't be able to enforce it.
No, maybe
It'll be
not.
you, Citizen Johnny goes out there.
Yeah, with my
If you're littering,
grabby stick in the countryside.
grab it. Right, next one.
So the other one is I drive a VW Polo.
So do I.
When I'm
Well,
not driving
I
the
drive a
Rolls Royce.
Of course, yes.
But yeah, so Volkswagen have basically pledged, in Germany, the government has now allowed councils, if they want to basically impose measures to ban the most polluting cars.
Yes.
So not all cities will actually do that, but all cities are allowed to do that now. And I don't think any of them have actually enacted it at the moment. But VW, obviously, lots of VW owners were angry because their relatively new cars actually fall within the dirtiest car group, according to these rules. So their cars the tax on those new cars could actually go up a lot. So the cars could be banned completely. So
your car's worthless.
Not worthless, but it's lost a lot of value. So VW has basically said it's going to buy the cars back of those people.
Dankeschön.
Yeah.
VW.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now that's not bad.
Yeah. So I don't know. You never know if all the city's going to put the ban in place or whether VW's actually going to do that, but they've said they're going to, so...
Let's talk about those things, though, because new cars sales have gone down for the first time in a few years. It was announced. And a lot of that to do with the diesel thing. But... Dieselgate. But for poor people...
Yeah.
Not like you. Diesel is very good because it's economical.
Well, yeah, that's something I was thinking about when we did the... when Sadiq Khan introduced the
toxicity charge,
the toxicity charge in London, where the oldest diesel cars...
Yes.
Are going to be fined more
than a big posh one. Yeah,
charge.
Absolutely.
But obviously, if you're pretty well off, you could you probably have a newer car that's not as polluting, or you can quite easily buy a new car that's not polluting. But if you're, I don't know, a single parent with a diesel Polo from the 1990s, and you don't have enough money anyway, you're pretty screwed. So yeah, these kind of things do tend to discriminate against poorer people.
Well said, Johnny.
Not that I would know, but
of course, please. Okay, and then finally, just to talk some rubbish for a moment, cycling. Always a clean weed to do it.
Yes.
Right? So if we both do a bit of cycling, how dangerous would you say the streets of London are now? Because you're the one that still has been like an idiot cycling through all the cold weather, mainly to the pub, I would say.
Yeah, and back from the pub.
And back. Streets of England, and even the Republic of Surrey is part of England, from what I remember.
Yep. Surrey's main problem is potholes, but I'd say London obviously is quite dangerous in terms of lorries crushing you.
Yes.
And people generally being more aggro.
More aggro, absolutely. As we saw on that there's a great clip that's been on Twitter, shared by Tony Bellew, of this bloke having a row with a cyclist, as we saw.
Yeah. I think some guy, well, I don't know, have we got the clip?
No, we haven't got the clip now, but we can point people towards it. I should have mentioned it to
Cyclist
Rob
faceplant, I think.
Yeah. No, he's not. The cyclist.
Cyclist road rage.
Yeah, the bloke runs after him anyway. No, the reason I ask is simply because one of these things is if we had better public infrastructure...
Yeah, like Amsterdam or something like that. Yeah,
so that we could
everyone
ride.
Would cycle.
We would ride.
Yeah.
And we'd be there. Right, anything else you want to say?
Not really, other than you can contact, I would say me or Pri, but Pri's going to be away next week. So it will just be me running the scene. And so you can email me at stories@energylivenews.com, and if you have any good ideas or criticism, which is more likely, then get in touch.
He's a star. And what else is happening next week, Jonathan, that you've been building up to? Come on, Johnny. Come on, work it out, mate. What's happening?
I haven't really been working on that. That was a bit of a red herring. The new website has been
Alex,
launched.
thank God you're here, Al. That is all we can say.
I'm awful with technological stuff, and I haven't really put the website together myself, so that threw me off.
We have got a new website coming.
And it's much prettier.
It is much prettier. It's going to have lots of good things. So we will launch that early next week, okay? So you'll see a big shake-up in the way Energy Live News looks.
Yep.
And there'll be bits more of... You might be able to see more of Johnny every day.
You can give us some feedback about that if you fancy on the Stories at Energy Live News email address. Okay. So get in touch about that.
All right, you've had enough publicity.
Yes, I'm losing my voice.
Yeah.
So,
Slink off. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Lovely. So do let us know what you think about fracking and any other bits that we've covered. Get involved. We'd like to do the banter box with more people. Maybe get involved. You want to have a little row with us? Let's do it. Let's get energy being a bit more controversial. Right, a couple of things before we go. Can we do the diary dates, please, Rob? So the diary dates coming up. So June the 7th, we have Energy Live Future, which is taking place at the Crystal in Docklands. This is an Energy Live special event for major energy users. So we've been contacting you this week. Al's done some calls. Don't think anyone else has. I have. We've been sending emails, but we will be getting in touch with you. So if you're a major energy user, please watch out for that invitation and do come along. We've got a packed day for you. We're going to look at the whole sort of question of whether we'll have energy in the future in Mars, how will suppliers exist in the future, what will be happening with the way you buy and sell energy, what equipment could be doing to make your life easier right now as an end user. We'll be hearing case studies, we'll be looking at new kit. We've got great real innovation from 2 universities that are coming along, with hopefully more. So we'll have people from Cranfield and Durham, including an electric car that's been built by students in a very new kind of way. And we'll do our own version of a sort of a Top Gear of EV. So Plenty going on. Get yourself involved in that. June the 28th is Telca, and Telca closing day is taking place on the 23rd. So you've got about just over 2 and a bit weeks left to get your entries in. We've had a lot in, so we'll be pushing on Telca as well. So, and then on early dates for autumn, October the 31st, we have Energy Live Expo, and we'll be looking at where we're going as we enter the final stages of the Brexit negotiations and all the implications that has for the energy sector. Right, before we go, any shout-outs, Freddie? No? None. Not even Kevin Corcoran. What a shame. Where are you, Kev? Let me end with our Anne finally. This is good. So we all like a good moan. Not in this office, because they're always really keen, aren't you guys?
Yeah.
Lovely, yeah. Anyway, so the average Brit, there's a survey about energy workers feeling undervalued, okay? And I can't believe this, but anyway, the average Brit says they believe they're owed a 37% pay rise.
More than that.
Yeah, more than that. Shut up, Johnny. In energy, apparently that figure goes to a whopping 43%. This is some survey done by some CV company. So people in the energy sector are unhappy. I don't think that's true. I think all the ones I've met have had a right good laugh. And the other thing that cracked me up was people want more pay than holiday. What do you reckon, guys?
I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Would you like a pay rise or more time off?
Both?
Knowing this, you're not going to get both, Johnny. You're not going to get anything. Pay. So Alex has gone for pay. Rob, holiday or pay?
Probably holiday.
See, holiday, see?
Yeah, but how are you going to...
I think I'll go for pay.
Holiday, anyway. So there you go. But you can have more time off. You can watch more Netflix. You can do whatever you like. So that's an interesting one. We should be back next week. We've got a busy week, as I said, with the new website launch. Do keep informed on Energy Live News every week, every day. Drop us a line. Watch the daily updates in the morning with Johnny. Oh, yes. They're a shocker. And we'll be hopefully seeing you next Friday at 4 o'clock. See you later.